Greetings. I am Albert. I am Albert Einstein. And I thank you for letting this old professor to have some of your time in such an auspicious gathering. You know, I continue to do my work as each of you do. And part of this has been the exploration and trying to assist you and all of humanity to understand the meaning of dimensional reality. Dearest Joanne, this is the Cliff Notes for physicists. And I will attempt to make this as clear as my teacher, Sanat Kumara, has made the universal laws clear. Because it is essential for you to understand, particularly during this time of change, the nature of how things work. And in fact, the nature of how this works, I would like you to turn down the volume, dear Isaac. So that the channel's ears do not pop off. Can you still hear me all right? Yes. Now, if only I had a chalkboard. But I will not make this discussion with you full of complicated formulas. For my aim is to make this simple. Because if you cannot make it simple, as my beloved Raj has taught me, then you miss the point. And more importantly, you miss the people. So I do not come to create theoretical discussion, but rather an explanation that is workable and useful to you who are the founders, the leaders, the way showers, the regridders, the repatterners of this beloved planet that we have all inhabited at one time or another. Some of you are very persistent and insist on coming again and again and again. For this I truly admire you. Because it is not always easy. In simplicity, there is elegance. And in elegance there is brilliance, and in brilliance there is joy. So it is not that I ignore the topic that you are gathered to celebrate. But I do wish to explain. What I have come to understand in terms of dimensions and the functioning of not only your sacred beings, your beautiful physical vessels, but the entire universe. Now I could speak to you about the omniverse or the multiverse, but for this day we will restrict our discussion to this universe. But know what I say applies everywhere. And is that not a huge statement for a little professor to make? But it is not my supposition, it is my understandings that I come to share now. All of the universe is patterned on the Mother, the Father, and the One. Now you would think that this is very self-evident, but I know that I have been surprised, particularly in science, in mathematics, in physics, in the entire field, even in philosophy, how often this very fact has been ignored. It is not a theorem, it is not a theory, it is a standalone truth. Your entire universe is patterned on the Mother. And, beloved ones, you have given me the perfect intro, Janine, by speaking about the wind. Because the entire planet, the universe, the galaxies, is also patterned on breath. So let us start there. I have a lot to say. Everything that is within you is a reflection of the sacred Divine Mother. The in-breath is the inhalation, the conjoining, the sacred union of the Father to the Mother. It is that moment of creation. I have spoken to you many times about still point, and I come to harp on it again today. Between the in-breath and the out-breath, no matter how minuscule, there is that moment of still point. And in that moment, that nanosecond, is the implosion and explosion, the formulation of creation. The out-breath of the Mother, her exhalation, is creation. It is the exhalation not only of her desire, but of all the energy. If you can fathom this, all the energy that is required to create whatever you can think of and far beyond. All life follows this pattern. So we will talk about this, and then we will move on to the dimensions. You, individually and collectively, are in the same pattern. There are many things that you can do without, but you do not do without breathing. It is fundamental to your existence. All life, the grass, the trees, the elementals, the fairies, the water, the sky, Gaia herself, the gases that you know, the rocks, they all breathe. Now, do they breathe in the same rhythm as you do? No. But do not think, for example, that rocks do not breathe. That is hard-headed of you, not them. How do you think that crystals grow? They are breathing. They are absorbing the atmosphere. They are living creatures, as much as the rock on any mountain face. And you see the mountains rise up, not only because of the tectonic plates, and you see them begin to disintegrate. You have many, many wonderful science theories and many accurate theories about how this occurs. But it is the breath. Now think of this in terms of what the channel has begun to explain, or try to explain, yesterday. When you think of a black hole, that is your in-breath. You are bringing in all your energy. And you are allowing it to collapse within you and do what it has need to do. Feed your cells. And we will talk about the molecular chains as well. Your exhale is not simply to get rid of gases, but it is also for you to create into the world. It is the biggest action you ever take. And so it is important to not only follow your breath, but follow your words and the sounds that you create. If you think of the collective of humanity and where you are at this momentous time of change, humanity has been, might I say, stuck in the in-breath for a very, very long time. Think of it in this way. And it is neither good nor bad, positive or negative. Yes, I forget the language that these light workers use. I tend to say good and bad. So, it is neither good nor bad. But when you think of the in-breath, you are bringing in the energy, and it is fixed. Think of it as being brought in, holding it in some form of either being stuck by the old paradigms of lack or limitation or fear. Oh, there are so many. And the out-breath of creation is fluid. Now, these are equal components. I have begun this lecture, years ago, by telling you about the infinity that is the basis of so much of creation. It is the ebb and flow of creation. So it is the intake, the still point, the output, the still point, the input. You get my meaning. Now humanity, which includes you, has been stuck in the in-breath for a very long time. Might I suggest to you, for thousands and thousands of years. Now you say to me, Professor, how can that be? We've been breathing the whole time. Well, I would suggest to you on this side, us looking at you, we've been waiting for you to exhale for a long time. And you are about to do so. And I would suggest to several of you that it will create a mighty wind of change. So you have breathed in, and you have been consciously and unconsciously in the still point, sometimes frozen in fear, but even the polar ice caps are thawing. So your heart is thawing, and you are preparing as a collective to exhale and to begin this new true cycle of creation in the patterning of the mother, in the patterning of the father and mother. Now let me speak as an aside. And you know, your patience is required, and my students used to become quite impatient with me because I would wander all over. But this is important. In the creation of the mother, there has been the creation of black holes and white holes. This is part of her creation. Just as there are portals, chakras within you, there are chakras, as you know, upon your beloved Gaia and my beloved Gaia. But there are portals throughout naturally occurring. And then over time, there have been black holes and white holes that have been, shall we say, manufactured, manipulated, not in the sense that you think of manipulation, but engineered. Shall we call it Halion engineering? Does that sound right, Michael? Yes. So, there are these portals by which you may travel and create and gather energy, both through the process of passage and the still point, to go interdimensionally or from galaxy to galaxy. This is something that your current scientists are simply beginning to really comprehend. It is called intra-dimensional transit. Intra-dimensional transit. But we are not here to talk about space travel, although I will tell you it is a delightful subject. Now, these availability of the true purpose of these white and black holes have not been fully available to humanity, because humanity has not been ready. Now you are coming to a place where you are understanding the nature of your very being. Now I do not simply speak of the science of your construction, of your engineering, but also your divine self. Because science, like universal law, is merely an explanation of the magnificent wonder of the Mother's design. And that has been forgotten. It was forgotten long ago. It was forgotten off planet in Galatea. It was forgotten in Atlantis. And it is forgotten on this planet right now. You are not the voices crying in the wilderness. You are the voices of sanity. And that is why I speak to you. Because you know the importance of the fabrication of all existence is love. The molecular structure of your being, of all beings, is love. The molecular chain, which they have done a beautiful job creating, but rather than the smooth conjunctions, they have made it hexagonal so they can understand it better. That is all right. But let us talk about this. Now think of what you have begun with your chakra system and your dimensional understandings that I am proud to say I have taught you and you have learned, which is far more rewarding than simply coming up with a theory. If you come up with an explanation and nobody believes you or pays any attention, then it is exceptionally lonely. I know, I have been there. So, when you are in your first chakra, your root, the beginning of your existence, that which ties you, roots you to Gaia, you are also connecting to this first dimension. The dimension of the idea of who you are. Now I know the channel has repeatedly said that all 12 dimensions are of equal value. But you haven't heard her. I wish to emphasize this. You cannot have the 11th dimension without the 3rd, the 8th without the 2nd. You will be stymied. You will be paralyzed. You will be crippled. It will be like walking around with no kidneys, or no heart, or no lungs, or no arms. It is an integrated whole, the same way that your body and your chakra system is an integrated whole, the same way that the blessings and virtues are an integrated whole. And that is why we have brought them together, and I thank you, Kathleen. So, when you are in that first chakra, first dimension, the idea, think about it. For I have had the extraordinary pleasure of talking to the Mother about this. The idea of when I first incarnated, which was long before Albert. in that, it is the in-breath. Because you are coming to fix yourself upon the planet in form. What a magnificent thing. And in the second, and that is why we have all these chakras, now you are coming to fully understand. In the second pubic chakra, you are beginning to think and be creation upon Gaia, the repair of Gaia, the maintenance of Gaia. Because while you have come for yourself, you have truly come for this ascension and this transformation back to original intent. And that is why in the second dimension, form begins to appear. And that is the out-breath. It is saying, sweet world, I am here. And then the third, in your beautiful tummies, your sacral, your organs, is your in-breath. Because what you are doing is breathing in the energy so that you can create in your belly. And particularly, most important, carry children. You have all been men and women and somewhere in between. So you hold that energy until you are again ready to expel, to spin out your addictions, your misbeliefs, the falsehoods, the illusions that have plagued the planet. And in that, what comes out of the creation? As you spin out in the fourth dimension, you are claiming your creation of magic, of alchemy, of expanded reality. So already you are there. This isn't something that you had to wait for. In the earlier times, before science became Almighty King, magic was an everyday occurrence, an expectation. Alchemy was normal. And it still is. The miraculous, the fact that you sit here on an orb that is an archangel is quite miraculous. And I would suggest magical. And then you move to your beautiful sacral. No, to your solar. I am an old man. But I have life in me yet. And you are bringing in your hara, your power, your will to survive. And what does that will require? It requires the ability to adapt, to change, to evolve. And what is the most significant change of all? It is the ability, and I know, well, I have learned, It is the ability to change what you can think of as your tiny will, your ego will, to be in alignment with the will of one. And with that extraordinary power fixed inside of you, germinating, reaching for still point, so that as you move up to your halion, to your bridge between realities within you and realities outside of you, you can burst forward on that out breath, out to the stars. You know, I have said to you that all the universe is patterned on the Mother. There is no such thing as dead space. Deep space is fully alive and vibrant. And that's why you want to go exploring. Because you've been there and you want to go back. But you also know, just as you know that you are humans and Gaians and angels and earth keepers, you are star beings. Your essence, much of the energy from which you are constructed, is of the stars as well. The Mother did not say, oh, now I will take this particular form of energy and create the stars, this particular type of energy, create the atmosphere, this type of energy, create the blade of grass, and this very specific energy will be for human beings who do not know anything about the outer reality. The entire purpose is for you to experience your outer reality, within and without. So what your Halion chakra does is it brings you out to claim your heritage, not only as one of Earth, but as one of the stars, of the galaxies, of the distant universes. And let me say to you, it has been the same for your star family, that they have had this yearning, and because they were further along in their evolution, they were permitted, they evolved to a place where they could use the holes for travel. Now, as long as the earthlings were stuck in the illusion of greed and separation and abandonment and hatred, they could not carry that and go traveling out to the stars. That would infect everything. You are always talking about things going viral. Well, it is time for love to go viral, but it has never been time for hatred or greed to go viral. We have witnessed too much of that just on our little planet. But now you are maturing, and so this opening is being made available to you to participate fully in. I think you should send this information to NASA. Would they not be surprised? So, do not ignore your Halion self. And then what do? You breathe in the essence of the Mother and Father and One into what you think of as your heart, your soul, your being. And it is love. And you fix it. You hold on to it. Because it is the most precious commodity. And you anchor it. And then what do? You bring it to still point. And you let it explode out through your high heart. Why do you think you have two? Through your high heart, you explode out as joy, as harmony, as peace. The action of keeper of the hearth and keeper of the heart. Those of you that carry the rose, you, sweet Jewel, you know what love in action is. And it is sublime joy. And it is your birthright. You cannot simply hold this in you. You are created for the in-breath and the out-breath. So can you imagine what chaos occurs when you breathe in love, which is in the air? That is the way it is fabricated. It is not something that you have need to go seeking hither and yon. You breathe it in, you breathe it out. So the chaos occurs when you breathe it in and you say, oh no, I don't deserve love. No, the mother didn't give me any love. My mother and my mother's mother and my mother's mother's mother and my father thrown in and my cousin, by the way, didn't give me love. So what I will do is I will freeze it. And then I will hide away and I will cower in the dark. And then you exhale hatred, cruelty. This is chaos. And this, your high heart, is your center for the 8th dimension of creativity. You are creating. You are taking care of the hearth, whether it is your home or your body, perfect health, or sweet Gaia herself. You are taking care to go to the prisons, sweet dawn, and to say, you are loved. That is the healing. Because you are saying you are worthy. You may have forgotten that you are worthy. So I am reminding you. And that is the most powerful action of love there is. And all beings of so many different races and types are imprisoned in the belief that they are not worthy. And how can that be when they are the pattern of the mother? Your work is stellar. Do not change it. Do not change it. And then you breathe in. Into your clavicle. Into your breathing in again the universe, the pattern of the mother. You are breathing in the energy that allows you to know that you are speaking to your guides, to your I am, through their I am, to the I am. Oh, if I had only known this when I was teaching. But I had a glimmer. But I did not know the fullness. And then, of course, the out-breath. The out-breath is the communication. It is the communication of beauty, of love, of tenderness. It is the sound of the mother. And she speaks in all voices, all tongues, all sound. Whether it is the buzz of the bumblebee or the sound of the ant crawling across the leaf, it is the sound of the mother. It is magnificent. And similarly, you bring in to your fourth eye, you breathe it in to know what reality truly looks like. Interdimensional reality. That is what your fourth eye is for. And then as you breathe out, you open your aperture and you blow out and you see. You see the truth and the magnificence of what it truly exists. Not just what you have thought of as firm physical, but the truth of the beauty. And then you breathe in. You breathe in the I am, the source, the grace, and you hold it. You fix it inside your crown and you never want to let it go, but you do. Because in your 14th chakra, you begin to let it out. And in your 15th, you bring in the great central sun, and then you fly to the light, letting go of form, ideation. You may even think of this chakra, your top chakra, as your white hole. Go. And all of this, think of the chains of molecules. Think of the infinity. This is what it does. It is the in and out breath. And you may use the energy of each. It is important. Now, we have talked a little bit about how humanity has been stuck in that in-breath. Many of you are communicators, counselors, physicians, healers. When you are looking with your clients, your patients, look at them and see if they are stuck in the imbalance. Are they stuck in the in-breath or the out-breath? Because it is the balance. It is the flow. And it is the stopping in the middle to allow the implosion, explosion. It wasn't for nuclear holocaust. It was for creation. So determine, even for yourselves, when you feel a little imbalanced, unbalanced, which is bad, determine where you are. Follow your breath. Follow your words. Follow your actions. Because you are leading the way, my friends. I have not chosen to incarnate because I am here with Raj, learning some very important lessons of universal law and where they sit in your chakras and in life, and how humanity can adapt to the systems of how things work. But I share with you, I would have done anything to be in your shoes, to be upon this beautiful earth for the exhale. You are the blessed ones. And I thank you and I support you. And I love you. Goodbye.